Hey guys, this is Arsenal Giants PS3 and this is the video where you guys finally get a chance to decide what team I take over as on FIFA 13. Now in this video we're going to have a lot of choices and a lot of options generally around the Premier League or Championship, generally in the English leagues really. However, if you guys have any other opinion or any other team you want me to take over as, then just leave it in the comment section and I will tally the votes up or tally any teams up and then we'll see what happens. So generally I have a kind of style of a team that I want to take over as, and that's kind of your smallish teams, have a little bit of cash to spend, not really high up in the league, sort of around mid-table to lower mid-table, that kind of team really. So when you guys are leaving a comment, please take into consideration that teams such as, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, etc. aren't really going to be into my sort of thought process, as I don't want to take over as a big team. That's never been my sort of style. I always kind of felt that at Sunderland or at Bolton, I kind of felt with all that cash to spend, it was a bit too much for me too early on, and what I want to do really, and this is the kind of storyline I want to start with a small team in the Premiership or the Championship, slowly working my way up to sort of other jobs, and this time around guys, I'm not just going to be staying in England. That was a little bit of a mistake on my part really. I wanted to go to like either France or Germany, Italy, etc, any other country, but generally I stayed in England. That's where I felt most comfortable with, player pronunciations and all the teams and stuff. But this time around I want to go exploring a bit more, so I start off with like an early sort of English team in the Championship, and then from then on I will be expanding into other countries and other sort of job offers, just sort of seeing what's out there and just generally following one big storyline. That's what I want to do. It's all about a big storyline and that's what I want to have really. So anyway, that was the long introduction. I do apologise for that, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys got the whole premise of what kind of teams I'll be taking into consideration and what's going to be happening throughout this series generally. So anyway guys, without further ado, on to the list of teams which I am taking into consideration on FIFA 13. So anyway, our first team we'll be looking at now is Fulham, and Fulham are a team that I really do hold quite close to me. They are the first team that I started off with on my FIFA 12 manager mode, and to be honest, as much as I enjoyed my time at Sunderland and at Bolton Wanderers, I have to admit that I really enjoyed my time at Fulham because I love the sort of realism aspect to it. I love the fact that I took Fulham all the way to the Carling Cup, but I still came in like 10th or 12th position, and I really enjoyed my time there. So if I was going to take over as any team in FIFA 13, it would probably be Fulham, but don't let that influence you. Let's have a look at Fulham's team, and in terms of defence, they are, kind of a little bit improved. They do have Kieran Richardson at left, but they do have Reether from Colne, so they are slightly improved in that respect. They do still have Hangland, and I don't really think Senderos starts particularly often for them. And in terms of the midfield, things really haven't improved at all. They have flogged off Moussa Dembele and Clint Dempsey to Tottenham, so in that respect they've really downgraded. They do have a few other players still, but to be honest, it's really not great in that regard. In terms of a striker though, they really have improved. They've got a lot of strength and depth now. They've brought in Dimitar Berbatov from Manchester United, they've brought in Hugo Rodallega from Wigan, and they've also brought in Petric from Hamburg on a free transfer, so they have brought in a lot of strikers, although you do have to take into consideration that both Bobby Zamora and Andy Johnson have left the club, so they didn't really have any strikers left to be honest, and also Pavel Popregniak, if I can ever pronounce that, has joined Reading. So in terms of strikers, they have improved a little bit, but overall, there has been a lot of improvement, but in terms of the midfield, it really has weakened a significant amount. So overall, I would say that Fulham are definitely a good team to start off with, and to be honest guys, I would love to start with them. So on to the second team I'd quite like to take over as, and it is Queen's Park Rangers, and Queen's Park Rangers this summer have made so many transfers, it's unreal. I'm just going to read through them for you. First off, we've got Esteban Granero from Real Madrid, then we've got Stefan Umbia from Marseille, then we've got Julio Cesar from Inter Milan, Junior Hoylett from Blackburn, Ji-Sung Park from Manchester United, also Fabio from Manchester United, and also Robert Green from West Ham. So they have made some really great transfers. Obviously these players aren't exactly star players, they aren't going to turn Queen's Park Rangers into a great team, but hopefully in FIFA 13 they'll have a lot of cash to spend on top of the players they've already brought in, so their team is looking reasonably strong this summer. I reckon they'll be up to a 3.5 star, 4 star kind of team. I reckon they could be quite strong. Obviously they have also kept Adel Taarabt, who was a great player for them last season, so things are really looking up for Queen's Park Rangers, and they'll be a pretty good team to take over as. But anyway, on to our third candidate, who is West Ham. And West Ham have always had a pretty solid squad, really. They've only just been promoted from the Championship, so not all their squad is Premiership quality. However, they do have a lot of pretty good players, like Kevin Nolan. And, well, I was going to say Cole is, Carlton Cole is a pretty good player, but he's not been so great at the start of the season. I'm just going to go through what players they brought in through the summer. They brought in a lot of quality players. They brought in Yossai Benayoun, their former player from Chelsea. They brought in Andy Carroll from Liverpool, Matt Jarvis from Wolverhampton, Alou Diarra from Marseille, James Collins from Aston Villa, and Jussi Jääskeläinen from Bolton Wanderers. So the signings have been pretty solid. Obviously, a lot of them are Premiership quality, including Matt Jarvis and Andy Carroll and Yossai Benayoun, and also James Collins. So they are a pretty solid side. I would be quite interested in playing with them. However, they do have this kind of style of football of, hoofing it up top, which perhaps is going to be integrated into FIFA 13. So it might be quite difficult because I like to pass it around. I do like to play on the counter-attack. So it might be a bit difficult playing as West Ham, but definitely they would be a team to look into. But on to our fourth Premiership candidate of this little episode, and it is Swansea. And while Swansea have actually flogged off a lot of their star players in Scott Sinclair to Manchester City and Joe Allen to Liverpool, they've actually brought in a lot of really quality players, in particular from Spain actually. They've brought in Michu from Real, De Guzman from Villarreal, and Pablo Hernandez from Valencia, and also they brought in Sung Yong Ki, I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, from Celtic. They've brought in a lot of quality players, and Celtic have this reputation as a great passing side, and I do have to agree. However, the only sort of gripe I have with it is all just about holding possession. It's very much adopted to the style of how Barcelona play. They love to keep the ball, they love to pass it around, but sometimes there's a very much a lack of penetration in terms of their own attacking in the final third. So that would be my only gripe with them. However, I do love their style of football. I do love how they pass the ball around, and Swansea would be a pretty awesome side to start off with. But next up we have Southampton here, and I'll be honest guys, I don't really know an awful lot about Southampton. They came second in the Championship last season, and they also got successive promotions from League One in the last 2 seasons, which is actually a really incredible feat. Not a lot of teams have been able to do that, so that is really impressive. And also I know that Ricky Lambert is pretty much their star player. Also do have Lallana, I don't know his first name, but they do have a pretty, it's a really good team for the Championship, but in the Premier League it is not exactly that great. But they have made a lot of signings this summer. They brought in Ramirez from Bologna, they brought in Nathaniel Klein from Crystal Palace, and also Jay Rodriguez from Burnley. So they have actually made some really good signings here. And so guys, that is pretty much Southampton. Their team has definitely improved, and I would really be interested in taking them to the top half of the table. I couldn't really ask for much more than that. So yeah guys, that is Southampton. And so lastly guys, we have Everton, and Everton really are the sort of team that I really don't want to go any higher than them. That they are the kind of team which are almost a really top quality side, but just aren't quite there yet. So teams like Manchester United, like Chelsea, etc. aren't really the kind of teams I want to take over as, but Everton are just below that point. So guys, their team is looking pretty damn good. They do really have a solid squad. They do have players like Fellaini, Jagielka, Leighton Baines, Tim Howard, etc. They have unfortunately lost Tim Cahill, something of their talisman actually, and their captain. At least I think there was their captain anyway. But looking at their squad, it is a really good squad, and also this summer they've actually made quite a few signings, quite a few David Moyes-esque signings if I would say so myself. So first of all, I'm going to pronounce this terribly, so I do apologise. We have Kevin Morales from Olympiacos. As I say, I do apologise. They also brought back Stephen Pienaar from Tottenham, so that's a pretty interesting player who's gone back to the club. And also they brought in Stephen Naismith from Rangers, sort of completing that exodus from Rangers. I think now they're in the League 2 equivalent of the Scottish division. I don't know, something like that anyway. I'm not really too interested in Scottish football if I am honest. But that is Everton guys, so they are a really good team, and I reckon I could probably get them to the Champions League. But then you sort of have the problem of, am I going to be staying there for only a single season, or if I am in the Champions League, do I stay there for an extra season, in which case the sort of series drags on a little bit, the kind of problem I have. So guys, that's the sort of option for Everton. And also, just to take into consideration, I'm not really going to go massively in depth about these two. We have Blackburn and Bolton Wanderers. They've actually been relegated to the Championship, so it would be kind of like, if I took over as them two clubs, or anyone in the Championship really, it's just about getting them back into the Premier League. But then again, I have the same problem of, what do I do? Do I stay with them for that extra season afterwards, or do I just then leave the club? It's all a bit confusing really. But anyway guys, those were the options. If you want to, just leave any other comment, any team at all. This is all just sort of my general sort of teams I want to take over as. I'm sorry I've really rambled on for such a long time now, I do apologise. But yeah guys, just leave a comment, whatever team you want me to start as in FIFA 13 career mode. Just leave any team at all in the comment section and I will tally up every single team that has entered in there, and then I will select them and tally them up, and then after I've tallied all the comments of every single team that's entered, I will then be selecting a side to take over as on the FIFA 13 career mode. And also guys, I'll be starting off the series with the early season ticket release on the 22nd of September. I do have the season ticket pass, I do already have it purchased, so I'm going to be starting on the 22nd of September, and I'm not going to tell you guys prior to the release of FIFA 13 what club I'm going to be starting as, but you guys will know as soon as FIFA 13 comes out. I'm going to upload a very sort of quick video telling you guys what team I am, and also asking you guys what kind of players I should be bringing in. I want to make this as interactive as possible, so you guys always have an opinion, always have an idea, always have sort of comments to give to me, because I want this to be really interactive, not too interactive, so just basically you guys deciding everything, but I want you guys to have some sort of input. So anyway guys, that is that. Just please leave any comment of any team you want to, and I will be starting off as them on FIFA 13. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and please leave a comment. Thank you.